What's going on, guys? So in this video I want to discuss maybe not the most popular of topics, but then again it can be, because when you blind buy fragrances like this is potential disappointment for you guys. So I want to talk about some cheap fragrances that tend to perform pretty weak. They're notoriously known to perform weak. Do you have uses for them, and why? I actually have many uses for them because, and most importantly, it comes down to scent for me. But when they are weaker performing, admittedly, I'm not going to reach for that for something that I'm going to need hours and hours of life out of, because I'm going to be gone for 8 to 10 hours of my day. But in this video, I want to discuss 10 of my personal favorites that I just adore the scent profiles of, that are all very cheap fragrances in the $30 and below price point that serve a purpose for me, that are just weak. So stay tuned. Starting with one that's infamously known for its incredible atomizer, as my buddy Justin likes to call it, a fire hose. It most certainly is, with Sean John 3am. Now I know some people tend to get better performance than I do. I get about 4 to 5 hours at best, which officially makes this one of the better performing fragrances in this video. But look at that atomizer, just outrageous. But the scent profile is where it shines on this. Not overly synthetic, a little bit of citrus, has a fig leaf smell, a little bit of that juicy fig smell, beautiful tonic water, soft supple leather. It actually has a little bit going on. This is a great everyday scent for someone, and you're not going to pay a lot of money. I paid like 12 bucks for this 50 ml. I paid, I think, 13 bucks at a Burlington for the 100 milliliter bottle I still have that's sealed, because eventually I'll run through this. I go through spurts where I wear this one pretty heavily, and it's kind of the poster child for this video. Do I wish it performed better? Yeah, a little bit. I'd like to get 6 to 8 hours out of it, but even that 3 to 5 hour range that I typically get for it, I'm happy with, because it serves a purpose. I love the way it smells. It's super cheap, and it's a little bit on the unique side. It does not smell like a bunch of other fragrances out there. So one that I definitely hold dear to my heart that's a cheap, weak fragrance is Sean John 3am. Next is one that admittedly I have not been spending a lot of time with lately. I go through spurts on this one as well. It's one of the best synthetic melon type of smells out there. It's got a dominating watermelon note. It's like almost like spraying yourself with a liquefied watermelon Jolly Rancher when it comes to Kenneth Cole Reaction. You can get this one in the $20 to $30 price point depending on where you find it, and bottle size. It's just so refreshing, fruity sweet, but not too sweet. It's fruity, fresh, watery. It's more of a juicy fruit type of smell, so there is some sweetness that comes with it. Very one-dimensional, does not change much. Like a 2-hour fragrance on my skin. 2, maybe 3 hours if I'm lucky. So definitely on the weaker side, but this is one that, now that I've pulled it out, it's going on the rotation table. I may wear it tonight when I get out of the shower, or possibly tomorrow, but smelling it in the air reminds me just how much I love this fragrance. This is one of those, another one of those token fragrances for this particular topic that don't shy away from it. If you have uses for these things, a la out the shower, you like something light, weak, and fresh like I do, or if you're somebody that likes to wear those type fragrances to the gym, again, right into my wheelhouse. Fragrances like this would do the trick, because again, not everything smells like this. For being something that's based around a juicy fruit smell, you would think there's a line full of fragrances that are just like this, but not exactly. I don't know of a bunch of fragrances that smell like this. It's quite enjoyable. Synthetic, cheap, weak, but smells great. Kenneth Cole Reaction. This kind of applies for the line as a whole. Calvin Klein puts out summer flankers for a few of their different lines, and most notably and most popular is the CK1 line. And here we have CK1 Summer 2021, which has become my favorite of the bunch. I have 4 or 5 years of this fragrance. I think 4 years. 4 years running. I love this. Zesty, fresh, sharp citrus. Beautiful, bright, green type of appeal to it, but very, very watery, uplifting. Super invigorating. Another one, 2, maybe 3 hours if you're lucky. Fantastic gym fragrance. Fantastic for a smoldering, hot, humid day outside. And you need something that's going to help cool you down, kind of level you off, and kind of ground you when you're taking a break from whatever you're doing outdoors when it's just so suffocatingly hot. This $20 fragrance will do the trick. Pretty much all of them in the line. every year. They're solid fragrances. They just perform terribly, at least in my experience. Very loud for about 30 minutes, then it gets kind of close to the skin and fades away at about the 2 hour mark. But damn, I got a bunch of uses for this because I love the way these fragrances smell for this line. CK1 Summer 2021. Next is kind of my personal favorite gym fragrance. It's what I wear the most. I've been through a small 1 ounce bottle. I have another 1 ounce bottle that I keep in my bag. This is my larger 100 milliliter of Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Blue. Now, outside of the extreme flanker, none of them perform relatively well. This one, though, of the four, is the weakest performer for me. This is another one, 2, maybe pushing it to 3 hours if I'm lucky. First 30 to 45 minutes, extremely loud, though. Blue fragrance at its finest, has some green, fresh, spicy elements to it. Shower gel feel. Super mass appealing and easy crowd pleaser type of scent profile. Versatile, works with everything. But because I love that, this is kind of like my blue fragrance of choice. Denser blue fragrance that's not just, mouth-watering aquatic type of stuff, which I do wear a lot of that stuff to the gym. This one, it's when I want something that's maybe not quite as fresh, has more of that shower gel blue fragrance feel with a little bit of spiciness. This is what, I think that's what I like the most about it. And because it's on the weaker side, it's something I enjoy to wear to things such as going to the gym, out the shower. It's great casually. It is a great fragrance as well. It's a great everyday fragrance. The only downside is if you have the skin chemistry reaction that I have, you're going to have to keep it with you or keep a decant and refresh periodically throughout your day because it's definitely weak. But I'll be damned if it doesn't smell incredible. Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Blue. I love this one so much that I've been through multiple bottles over the years. I have a 1 ounce bottle that's just about empty. I've started to work on this 200 ml. We're talking about the original Boss No. 6 from Hugo Boss. This is Boss bottled, my big 200 milliliter bottle. This is maybe a 4 hour fragrance on my skin. Nothing special, maybe 5. 3 to 5 hours, it varies, but typically right around 4 hours. But this is an all-time great scent profile for me. That beautiful warm apple pie smell that still has this sharpness to the crispy green apple at the top. The spice isn't overdone here. There's a little bit of sharpness to the woods in the dry down. This dresses up very well. Signature scent worthy type of stuff. Not my favorite choice to go to the gym, or I do like to wear it out the shower, but not to really go to the gym. But daytime, workplace settings, office scenarios, suit and tie. This fragrance really works. Downside, though, if you get performance like I get, you got to keep it with you to refresh because, let's face it, most work days at minimum for a full-time job is going to go 8 hours plus, depending on what field you're in. But if you're in an office setting, like I said, all-time great right here, especially for business professionals. It gets the job done. It's got a serious approach without being any way, shape, or form a challenging fragrance. One of the better weak fragrances ever made. Boss No. 6, Boss Bottle. So I just started wearing this one again recently out the shower. It's my all-time favorite out the shower fragrance. I've been through every rendition of this fragrance from its original batches to now. We're talking about, on my channel, the famed Nautica Classic. This one, again, 2 hours. I don't know if I've ever clocked this particular bottle at 3 hours. It's weak. It's cheap. There was a time when you can get this at discounts for $10. Absolutely worth it. I have a backup bottle. I have a vintage bottle that gives me like 6 or 7 hours, even though the top note's a little spoiled, which that fades pretty quickly. That one's a little more floral, less marine, whereas this is much more saltwater marine and aquatic. Really has that sailing type of vibe, like the shape of the bottle for being out in the water, the nautical adventures, if you will, the whole theme behind the brand as a whole. Still, sub $15 price point, nothing special here. Most people, from what I've seen, don't really care for this fragrance. But it's a nostalgia pick for me. This is a fragrance from my childhood that I've always had a bottle of. There's very few times in my life where I had stretches where I didn't have some sprays of the original Nautica fragrance in my possession. And moving forward, I don't think that'll ever be the case. I have 2 bottles that are barely sprayed, plus this one. So I think I'm good. But like I said, more of a nostalgia pick for me personally, not one I would necessarily recommend everybody go out and get. But if you're a 90s kid like me, you might have some nostalgic ties to this. But it's super weak these days. The original Nautica Classic. Now this one has a beautiful fruity sweet smell. Lovely fragrance. Another one that's maybe 3 hours. You can find this in the sub $30 price point. Sean John, I'll tell you what, they put out some really, really good fragrances. This is Sean John I Am King. This has a gorgeous juicy fruit smell, even more so than Kenneth Cole Reaction. forgot. I want to say it's dragon fruit or passion fruit or something along those lines. It's a very distinctive, fruity, sweet, juicy smell to this one. Absolutely, I smell it floating in the air. Absolutely amazing scent profile. Downside, it's weak. It's a great daily wear. It's great for the gym. It is a little loud at first. About an hour, it's pronounced. It's a very bright fragrance, very bright and in your face. But after that hour, it sits a lot closer to the skin. And like I said, by the 3 hour mark, on my skin, it tends to fade, but I don't regret this blind buy purchase in any way, shape, or form because it smells that good to me. This is one that's highly underrated in today's men's fragrance market. If you see this one out at the rack stores and you like those oddball, fruity, sweet fragrances, you might like this one. Like I said, I believe it's like a dragon fruit note, which really kind of sets it apart from a lot of other similar style fruity, fresh fragrances. You could do a lot worse with the $20 to $30 price point as long as you're okay with weaker performance. The scent on this is incredible. It's Sean John, I am king. As of late, this is what I've been wearing to the gym the most. I like to always have something Versace Mano Fresh-esque in my rotation when it comes to out the shower and going to the gym. And for me, Kenneth Cole Blue has kind of been that fragrance as of late. Sharp, zesty, synthetic orange, marine, aquatic, saltwater sea notes type of thing going on. A little musky. It's pleasant. Like a 4-hour fragrance. This is one of the better performing ones in the video for sure. But man, I really, really dig this stuff. Underrated light blue fragrance. It doesn't smell exactly like Versace Mano Fresh, but you can tell that's the path they were trying to walk with this scent profile when it was created. You can get these really cheap. I paid 20 bucks, I think it was, for this 50 ml, and it came in a bonus pack with a 30 ml, which I still have sealed. And this has kind of been one of my go-tos. It's been featured in the 2 versions so far, because it's a new format for the channel, my monthly gym rotation. I've only done 2 episodes so far. This has been in both, because I tend to reach for this one more times than not. I leave it right in the little area I keep my gym fragrances that are in the current rotation, and I grab for this one more times than not. Like I said, this is probably the fragrance I've been wearing the most out of everything in this video, to be completely honest with you. And if you're looking for a cheap fix on something that kind of smells like Versace Mano Fresh, maybe a little bit more on the aquatic side, you might want to check this out. It's Kenneth Cole Blue. Next, this is a newcomer to my collection. I've been wearing it a decent amount lately. Love the way this smells. It is from David Beckham. It's called David Beckham Classic. I paid 13 bucks at Burlington recently for this. 2 hours and it's gone. Reminds me somewhat of Sean John 3 AM in many ways. Has that tonic water type of smell. Not really the same citrus and then dry down going. Like this doesn't have a leathery dry down. It doesn't have the fig leaf. But that tonic water and bright freshness kind of tied the two together. This has a little bit of a fresh, spicy edge going. Weaker performer. But to be honest, kind of like how this smells a little bit more than Sean John 3 AM in some ways. I've worn this to the gym. I've worn it casually during the day. I've worn it out the shower. And I've had it for a very short amount of time. I've just really, really been digging this fragrance. For 13 bucks, this is one of the better smelling $13 fragrances I think that I've ever bought. Admittedly, you can get a lot of English Laundry's offerings from these discount rack store places like Burlington and such for that same price point. I would recommend getting those over this. But if you see this, and you like that tonic water smell, that crispy edge, that brightness of a tonic water heavy fragrance, you might want to give this a dice roll for 13 bucks and check it out, because I've really been digging this one. It had to be in the video. It's David Beckham Classic. Finally is a fragrance that I have 2 bottles of. This one has an air leak, and it was a tester bottle, no cap, so I tend to leave this one on my rotation table. I spray this out the shower more times than not. It is Ferrari's Radiant Bergamot. Love Radiant Bergamot. So you gotta prime it. It loses prime. Boy, does it smell good. Damn, this fragrance smells good. Zesty, bright, bitter bergamot juiciness, fresh greens, just magnificent smell. Loud, really loud for about an hour. Could be because I spray it so heavy. I spray it like 10 to 12 times every time I spray it. Way more than I need to lounge around in the evenings, because that's really the only time I wear it. But I bask in the beautiful ambiance of the aroma that's surrounding me for that solid hour. And then after about 2 to 3 hours, leaning into the 3 hour mark, it's pretty much gone at that point. You can still find this one in the sub $30 price point. It is the cheapest of the four that have been discontinued because all the Ferrari fragrances have been discontinued. Act sooner than later if this one interests you. I'm thrilled to have 2 bottles of this because it has become one of my favorite car company fragrances and one of my favorite Bergamot fragrances. End of story. It's just great. This was the first fragrance I grabbed to gather this collection to talk to you guys about this topic. Get your nose on this one if you haven't yet. I was sleeping on it for many years. Glad to have it now. Awesome cheap fragrance that I love that has, very weak performance. Ferrari Radiant Bergamot. Well, that's the 10 that I have for you today with this particular video topic. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What's some cheaper fragrances that just perform, I guess, for lack of a better term, like crap on your skin? Like you really wish you could get more than 2, 3, 4 hours out of them, but you keep going back to them because you just love how they smell so much. Because for me, that's what's most important. How a fragrance smells. The wearing experience, which top of the list goes for how it smells to me. Then comes performance. Do I wish some of these lasted longer? Of course I do. Am I upset that they're weak? Not really, because I still wear them. I still love them. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 10 and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.